The processing center's metal walls vibrate with the thrum of alien machinery. Alina watches as humans are sorted by physical attributes and cognitive abilities. A towering Vrol officer, exoskeleton gleaming under harsh lights, barks commands through a translator device hanging from his neck mandibles. The device catches Alina's attention. She recognizes patterns in the translation matrix from her linguistics research. You, female, stand. The Vrol points a segmented appendage at Alina. His compound eyes reflect her terrified face in countless tiny mirrors. Cognitive scan indicates language aptitude. Two Azanti technicians flank her, their slim blue bodies moving with unsettling precision. Unlike the brutish Vrol, they touch her almost gently, attaching neural sensors to her temples. One speaks in musical tones that the translator converts to flat, emotionless English. Subject demonstrates unusual synaptic architecture. Recommendation: translator assignment rather than physical labor. The Vrol makes a clicking sound that might be laughter. The human will break regardless. They all do. Alina is marched through corridors where humans shuffle in shock, some weeping, others staring defiantly at their captors. Through a viewport, she glimpses San Francisco Bay, now filled with alien harvesting platforms extracting minerals from the water. The Golden Gate Bridge serves as a docking structure for smaller craft. In the translation center, 50 humans sit at terminals, wearing neural interfaces. A supervisor, a mailer with translucent skin that pulses with bioluminescent patterns, approaches Alina. Your designation is Translator 37. The mailer says, voice gentle despite the circumstances. I am Overseer Neri. You will learn quickly, or you will be reassigned to resource extraction. Alina's station displays alien text alongside phonetic guides. As she works, she discovers something remarkable. The translation algorithms aren't perfect. They miss nuances, idioms, and emotional context. More importantly, the aliens don't realize this limitation. During a brief meal break, Alina whispers to the woman beside her, I'm Alina. Dr. Alina Reyes. Xenolinguistics. The woman's eyes widen slightly. Rebecca Chen. Biochemistry. They don't understand how we communicate, Alina murmurs, pretending to focus on her nutrient paste. Not really. Rebecca nods imperceptibly. The Azanti were discussing human neurochemistry. They're fascinated by our adrenaline responses. They have nothing like it. As darkness falls outside, the translation center shifts to a night crew. Alina is returned to a communal holding area where hundreds of humans lie on stackable cots. Guards patrol lazily, their attention divided between monitoring humans and their own social hierarchies. Alina notices how the Vrol subordinates defer to the Azanti scientists, who in turn seem uncomfortable around the telepathic mailer. In the dim light, Alina studies the translator device a careless guard left charging at a wall station. Its interface glows softly, revealing linguistic algorithms far more advanced than anything humanity had developed, yet with curious blind spots. The device can translate words perfectly but struggles with metaphors, sarcasm, and implied meaning. Alina closes her eyes, her mind racing with possibilities. The aliens believe humans have been broken and categorized, neatly sorted into their galactic hierarchy. They expect compliance born of fear and hopelessness. What they don't expect is adaptation, resistance. Humanity's defining trait isn't our technology or even our intelligence. It's our refusal to accept chains, no matter how unbreakable they seem. Tomorrow, Alina decides, she'll begin testing just how blind their captors truly are. Alina's quarters aboard the Empirical Certainty are barely larger than a closet, but they offer something precious. 3 minutes of privacy between shift rotations when surveillance temporarily shifts patterns. She uses these moments to decode the mnemonic sketches hidden in her translation work, building a lexicon of consensus secrets. Today's discovery sends ice through her veins, a requisition for enhanced neural harvesting from human subjects. The Azanti aren't just studying human brains. They're extracting components. Meanwhile, on Kur-9, Marcus Chen works in darkness so complete that his eyes have developed an uncanny sensitivity to the faintest light. His hands, once nimble enough to disarm explosives, are now calloused and scarred from mining silicate crystals used in Vrol communication devices. Worker RH-5261. Proceed to waste processing. Drones the automated overseer. This is what Marcus has been waiting for. Waste processing means access to discarded tech, particularly the broken communicator components deemed worthless by the Vrol. In the cavernous waste facility, he quickly identifies what he needs, a fractured quantum entanglement node. To the Vrol, it's garbage. To Marcus, it's the final piece for his subspace transmitter. He palms it, the movement covered by his methodical sorting motions. Worker efficiency suboptimal. The overseer notes, increasing labor duration by 30%. Marcus doesn't flinch. The extra work hours mean exhaustion, but also less supervision as the primary shift ends. Compliance acknowledged, he responds with practiced dullness. Across the galaxy, Deo's voice rises in perfect harmony with the crystalline acoustics of the Xlith entertainment hive. She sings an old Earth lullaby, its simple melody entrancing the gathered Xlith. What they don't realize is that the seemingly innocent song contains mathematical patterns, a code teaching the concepts of freedom and choice to minds evolved for collective consciousness. After her performance, junior Xlith cluster around her, their compound eyes shimmering with unusual patterns. Individual Deo. One ventures, using the grammatical heresy that marks the growing movement among young Xlith. We have questions about human concept desire. This is dangerous territory. The consensus strictly forbids discussing such concepts with servitude species. But the young Xlith have positioned themselves to block monitoring devices. Desire is wanting something for yourself, Deo explains. Not because the hive needs it. The Xlith vibrate with excitement or fear. Deo still can't tell the difference. Is desire why humans resist? Our elders say obedience brings harmony. Harmony without choice isn't harmony, Deo whispers. It's silence. Back on the research vessel, Alina receives a transmission that appears to be routine translation work. Embedded within the technical jargon is a message from an anonymous sender. Neural harvesting facility coordinates confirmed. Operation Prometheus requires catalyst. Alina understands immediately. Prometheus, the mythological figure who stole fire from the gods to give to humanity. The Resistance needs information from inside the Azanti Research Division to sabotage the neural harvesting program. As her shift ends, Science Director Taz Rill approaches. The Azanti's slender form towers over her, faceted eyes unreadable. Translator, you have demonstrated exceptional comprehension of consensus scientific terminology. You will begin specialized assignment tomorrow. Alina bows her head submissively while her mind races. I am grateful for the opportunity to serve. Your gratitude is irrelevant, Tazril responds. Your function is what matters. But as the Azanti turns away, Alina notices something that sends hope surging through her. Tazril's access badge, with security clearance to the very neural research facilities she needs to infiltrate. The Prometheus catalyst may be within reach sooner than anyone expected. Alina stands perfectly still as Science Director Tazril presents findings to the Azanti High Command. On the surface, she appears to be performing her translator duties flawlessly. What the Azanti cannot perceive is the subtle tension in her left hand. Fingers positioned in the mathematical sequence that means critical intelligence in the silent language. The human predator-derived neurological architecture continues to defy standard models. Tazril explains, manipulating a holographic brain scan. While all consensus species developed intelligence as a defensive adaptation, humans evolved intelligence as a hunting tool. A high-ranking Azanti interrupts. This explains their resistance patterns. Precisely, Tazril confirms. Consensus species evolved to avoid conflict through hierarchical acceptance. Humans evolved to overcome obstacles through what they call persistence hunting, pursuing prey until it collapses from exhaustion. Elena maintains her blank expression, but her breathing pattern shifts slightly. Short, long, short, conveying urgency to the human assistant positioned across the room. This breathing pattern, combined with her finger positioning, forms a complete message. Extinction vulnerability identified. On Cur 9, Marcus leads 20 miners through what appears to be standard excavation work. In reality, they're expanding a hidden chamber beneath the official tunnels. As they work, they exchange seemingly mundane conversation about work quotas and rations. Production Sector 7 seems 15% below standard. Comments worker RH 7890, wiping sweat from his brow with a specific three-fingered gesture. Marcus nods. Central processing won't increase rations until efficiency improves. He taps his mining pick against the rock wall. One hard strike followed by two soft taps. To surveillance systems, it's meaningless chatter. In silent language, they've just confirmed a roll patrol schedule change and adjusted their sabotage timeline. In the hidden chamber, Marcus unveils his completed subspace communicator. Unlike bulky consensus technology, he's miniaturized it using principles no alien would consider, sacrificing range and clarity for concealability. This won't reach Earth, he explains to his inner circle, but it will connect to the mining operation in the Proxima system. His second-in-command, a former NASA engineer, smiles grimly. One node at a time, we build our web. In the Slith Entertainment Hive, Deo performs a traditional Earth dance for an audience of young Slith. Her movements seem random to alien observers, but each gesture, turn, and step forms complex mathematical equations, the foundation of silent language. After the performance, a young Slith approaches. Individual Deo, your movements contained patterns matching third-order equations. Its voice drops to a whisper. Are you teaching calculation without consensus? Deo smiles innocently. I'm simply expressing Earth culture. The young Slith's antennae twitch in a specific pattern. It's attempting to use silent language. The elders grow suspicious. Some young ones disappeared after asking questions. Deo's expression doesn't change, but she blinks rapidly, transmitting alarm. This is new and dangerous. The consensus eliminating potential sympathizers among their own species. Later, in her private chamber, Deo makes a difficult decision. She retrieves a small vial hidden in her hair ornament, a biological compound developed by human biochemists in the Proxima mining colony, transmitted via Marcus's network, and synthesized using materials stolen from Slith medical facilities. The compound will temporarily block the hive mind connection in young Slith without triggering alarm pheromones. It's risky. Detection means immediate execution, but the alternative is watching her young allies disappear one by one. Individual choice has a price, she whispers, adding the compound to the ceremonial nectar she'll share with her students tomorrow. And humans aren't the only ones willing to pay it. Nexus Station's processing center hums with efficiency as freshly captured humans are sorted, classified, and prepared for distribution throughout consensus space. None of the aliens notice the slight irregularity in ventilation panel J17, where Marcus observes the operation through his modified cybernetic eye. 19 guards at the main processing floor. He subvocalizes, the words transmitted via a throat implant to Elena's earpiece. 6 roll, 8 Azanti technicians, 5 mailer telepaths. Elena, dressed in diplomatic attire as assistant to an Azanti representative, responds without moving her lips. The mailer are the priority targets. Their telepathy will detect emotional spikes if the captives realize rescue is coming. In the station's cultural exhibition hall, Deo concludes her performance to enthusiastic clicks and whistles from the mixed species audience. As planned, the encore features Earth percussion instruments, the rhythmic patterns containing the final countdown sequence for Operation Spartacus. 10 minutes to synchronization, Marcus confirms, retreating from the ventilation shaft to rejoin his team. 12 humans and 3 Trelban sympathizers disguised as maintenance workers. The Trelban, eldest species in the consensus, resemble ancient earth turtles with elongated necks and manipulation tendrils instead of forearms. Their spokesperson, Scholar Healer Vaughn, hands Marcus a series of small spheres. The compound is calibrated to malar neurochemistry, Vaughn explains. It will overwhelm their telepathic centers without causing permanent damage. Marcus nods grimly. No casualties if possible. We're not fighting for revenge. We're fighting for recognition. Throughout Nexus Station, 237 humans in various service positions receive Deo's signal. Food preparation workers add harmless but disorienting compounds to Vrul nutrient dispensers. Maintenance crews subtly alter atmospheric mixtures in security zones. Technical assistants introduce minor errors into surveillance systems. None of these actions alone would trigger alarms, but together they create cascading failures in station security. At the diplomatic reception, Alina navigates between conversations, her translator badge secretly modified to emit subsonic pulses that interfere with Azanti sensory organs. As the chief Azanti delegate begins experiencing disorientation, Alina offers assistance. "Allow me to escort you to the medical bay, Excellence," she says with practiced deference. The moment they're alone in the corridor, Alina presses a nerve cluster at the base of the Azanti's neck, a vulnerability discovered through years of careful observation. The delegate collapses, unconscious but unharmed. Alina quickly accesses the delegate's security clearances, transmitting them through the Resistance network. Central security access granted. Phase 2 initiated. In the processing center, Marcus leads his team through service corridors, deploying Vaughn's neurological disruptors near mailer positions. The telepaths collapse in confusion, unable to broadcast alarm. Simultaneously, Deo's Xlith allies release specialized Earth insects, crickets, and cicadas throughout the station. The creatures are harmless, but their unfamiliar sounds create panic among insectoid species whose evolutionary instincts interpret them as predator signals. As planned chaos engulfs Nexus Station, Marcus breaches the processing center's main doors. The human captives stare in shock as armed figures in maintenance uniforms rush in. "We are the Earth Resistance," Marcus announces, his voice carrying authority that makes even the Vrol guards hesitate. "And all of you are being freed today." Meanwhile, in the Consensus Council chamber, emergency alarms interrupt proceedings. The Trelban High Representative rises slowly, ancient eyes surveying the panicked delegates. "Perhaps," the elder being intones, silencing the chamber, "the time has come to reconsider our fundamental assumption about the human species. They are not simply refusing their assigned place in the natural order. They are demonstrating that our understanding of the natural order may be fundamentally flawed." The captured Vrol dreadnought Defiance hangs in the shadow of Saturn's rings, its hull scarred from battles, but proudly displaying a new insignia: Earth's continents superimposed over a broken chain. On the bridge, Marcus studies tactical displays showing consensus fleet movements throughout the Sol system. They're still using standard Vrol combat formations, he observes to his executive officer, Commander Rishenko. "Even after we've exploited those patterns 6 times. Rishenko, a former Russian submarine captain, nods. "They're incapable of tactical innovation. Their military doctrine hasn't changed in 3,000 years. The ship's engineering chief interrupts with an urgent report. "Admiral, the modified shield harmonics are ready. The Vrol won't just be shooting through our defenses. Their weapons will actually strengthen our shields by 23%. Marcus smiles grimly. "How long until they adapt?" "Their engineers will need to completely redesign their weapon systems. 3 months minimum, probably 6. This is humanity's greatest advantage. The consensus species refine and perfect, but humans innovate and reinvent. What takes alien engineers years to comprehend, human minds can reimagine in weeks." Across the solar system, in the hidden labs beneath Europa's ice, Alina works alongside Trelban scientists studying human cognitive architecture. "The neural pathways simply shouldn't work," confesses senior biologist Mevtel, manipulating a holographic model of human brain activity. All sentient species develop linear problem-solving processes. Humans think in conceptual leaps. The Lena studies the comparison display showing consensus species neural activity versus human patterns. You evolved intelligence as prey species. Methodical, careful thinking was survival. We evolved as both predator and prey. We needed creativity to survive. Mev tells ancient eyes blink slowly. For 17,000 years, the consensus believed sentience followed a single evolutionary path. Humans disprove our fundamental understanding of intelligence itself. At the observation window, Trelbin High Scholar Vaughn watches younger Trelbin working alongside humans. This collaboration was unthinkable a year ago. Now 5 consensus species have formally withdrawn from the genocide order. Lena's expression darkens. But the hardliners are escalating. The Vrol have initiated scorched earth protocols on 3 worlds where resistance is strongest. On the colony world Proxima AI, now declared a human reservation zone, Deo addresses a gathering unlike any the galaxy has seen. Representatives from 22 species, including 9 former consensus members, seated as equals with humans. The consensus claimed humans were evolutionary aberrations, she tells them, her voice carrying through the chamber without amplification. A skill developed through years of performance. A predator species that achieved sentience. They feared us because we represent what they can never understand. The ability to transform rather than merely exist. A young Slith rises, its compound eyes reflecting light in patterns that indicate emotional intensity rather than hive-mind connection. Individual Deo, the independent Slith collective wishes to formally request military protection from consensus forces. Our elders have declared us biological aberrations to be purged. The chamber falls silent. This is unprecedented. A faction of a consensus species seeking human protection against their own kind. Deo looks to the human diplomatic contingent, then back to the Xlith representative. The Earth Alliance does not abandon those who choose freedom, regardless of species. Your people will have sanctuary. As the assembly erupts in multilingual discussion, Deo receives an encrypted message from Elena. Galactic Council vote results confirmed. Humanity officially reclassified from servitude eligible to contested status. The legal foundation of our enslavement has begun to crumble. Elena's stealth shuttle skims the cloud layer over what was once the South Pacific. Earth's familiar blue has been replaced by a sickly green-gray as atmospheric processors extract oxygen and nitrogen for consensus manufacturing. The shuttle's sensors map the contours of the Sydney Defense Hub, a crystalline structure that has consumed the former city like a geometric cancer. Primary quantum node confirmed, reports Kamala, her fingers dancing across holographic controls. 15 years of separation dissolve in the intensity of their shared mission. The hub's defenses are even more extensive than intelligence suggested. Elena studies the readouts, the diplomat momentarily overshadowed by the resistance strategist. The Azanti always build redundancies into critical systems, but they also create maintenance access points. They can't help themselves. Their shuttle touches down in the ruins of the Blue Mountains, now stripped of vegetation and riddled with mining tunnels. A dozen figures emerge from concealed positions, the advance team Marcus dispatched 3 days earlier. Ambassador. The team leader greets Elena with a respectful nod. The Sydney hub's rhythm is established. 30-minute intervals between security sweeps, predictable as a metronome. Elena smiles. The Azanti value efficiency above all else. Predictability is their weakness. Meanwhile, in high orbit, Marcus directs the battle from the command deck of Defiance *. Human ships engage consensus defense platforms in what appears to be a disorganized assault. In reality, each seemingly random attack forms part of a larger pattern, drawing defensive resources away from Australia's coastline. Vrol command vessels responding exactly as anticipated, reports Marcus's tactical officer. They're interpreting our maneuvers as desperate and uncoordinated. Marcus nods. They still can't conceive that chaos might be strategic. He opens a secure channel to Deo, commanding the cultural broadcast station, repurposed from a captured Slith vessel. Begin Phase 2. Across all frequencies, Deo's voice reaches every corner of Earth and its orbital defenses. She sings Waltzing Matilda, an ancient Australian folk song that means nothing to alien ears, but sends a powerful message to any human still on Earth. The liberation of Sydney has begun. As Elena's team infiltrates the underground access tunnels, they encounter unexpected resistance, not from Azanti guards, but from altered humans. These adapted, their bodies and minds modified through Azanti experimentation, patrol with vacant expressions, and enhanced strength. Hold fire. Elena commands as her team raises weapons. They're victims, not enemies. Kamala steps forward, removing a small device from her pack. I prepared for this. The neural disruptor should temporarily override their conditioning. The device emits a subsonic pulse. The adapted guards freeze, then collapse like puppets with cut strings. Kamala checks their life signs. They'll recover in approximately 20 minutes with no permanent damage. As they advance deeper into the facility, Elena accesses a terminal to download the hub's schematics. What she finds sends ice through her veins. This isn't just a defense node, she whispers. It's a terraforming control center. They're not just occupying Earth. They're transforming it into something that resembles their homeworlds. Atmosphere, geology, electromagnetic field, everything. Kamala's expression hardens. How long? At current rates, Elena studies the projections. 5 more years and Earth becomes permanently uninhabitable for unmodified humans. This isn't just about reclaiming our home anymore. It's about whether humanity will have a home at all. The diplomatic chamber of New Geneva glows with natural light filtering through crystal panels, a deliberate architectural choice, combining human aesthetics with alien materials. Elena stands at the central podium, addressing representatives from 23 species. 5 former consensus members sit prominently in the front row, while 4 neutral species observe from specialized environmental chambers along the walls. The Galactic Charter's 3rd principle requires unanimous approval. Elena explains, her translator badge ensuring perfect comprehension across all languages. The recognition that intelligence and sentience can evolve through multiple evolutionary pathways, none inherently superior to others. The Vril ambassador, representing the Hardliner coalition, rises on powerful hind limbs. This principle contradicts 17,000 years of established biological hierarchy. Predator-evolved intelligence like humanity's is inherently unstable and aggressive. Elena smiles diplomatically. Yet 5 former consensus species now thrive under alliance with humans. Their populations report unprecedented cultural and technological growth. Before the Vril can respond, an urgent communication interrupts the proceedings. Marcus's holographic form materializes beside Elena, his expression grave. "Forgive the interruption, Ambassador," he says formally for the diplomatic record, then lowers his voice. "We've confirmed the evolutionary reset weapon. Hardliner scientists have completed the prototype on the Azanti research world Helios Prime." The chamber erupts in multilingual alarm. The Trelban elder, scholar Healer Vaughn, raises ancient appendages for silence. This weapon violates the most sacred covenant of galactic civilization. Vaughn intones, "To deliberately trigger evolutionary regression is to unmake sentience itself." Meanwhile, at the Antarctic Academy on Earth, Deo guides a mixed-species student group through the newly constructed Library of Remembrance. Holographic displays show Earth before and during the occupation, cities reduced to extraction centers, oceans churned by mineral harvesters, forests replaced by processing facilities. "We preserve these images not to cultivate hatred," Deo explains, "but to ensure history cannot be rewritten." The consensus believed they had the right to determine which forms of intelligence deserved freedom. A young Vril student, the first of his species to attend the academy, raises a hesitant appendage. Professor Okafor, How can humans teach alongside species that enslaved them? My own people committed terrible acts against yours. Deo considers the question carefully. Humans understand something the consensus never did. Evolutionary history does not determine destiny. Your ancestors' choices are not your burden to bear, only to learn from. The student's compound eyes reflect complex emotions no Vrol would have displayed before contact with humans. The hardliners call us contaminated by predator thinking. They say humans have infected us with dangerous ideas. Ideas like individual choice and mutual respect. Deo asks with a gentle smile. Perhaps those ideas were always within you, waiting for permission to emerge. Back in New Geneva, the diplomatic crisis reaches its climax. Intelligence reports confirm the evolutionary reset weapon targets specific genetic markers present in predator-evolved species, with humans as the primary target. Elena faces the assembled delegates. We stand at a crossroads. The Alliance can launch a preemptive strike against Helios Prime, potentially saving humanity, but killing millions of civilians. Or we can attempt a diplomatic solution despite previous failures. The chamber falls silent. This moment will define the new human-led philosophy, whether it truly represents an evolutionary step forward or merely exchanges one form of domination for another. Elena takes a deep breath. I propose a third option, one that honors both human innovation and the consensus tradition of careful deliberation. The Azanti homeworld Helios shimmers like a sapphire against the void, its crystalline cities reflecting starlight in mathematical patterns. Above this jewel of order and precision, two fleets face each other in the final confrontation of a war that has transformed the galaxy. Marcus stands on the bridge of Prometheus, Earth's first purpose-built warship, combining technologies from a dozen species. Unlike the utilitarian Vrol vessels or the geometric perfection of Azanti craft, Prometheus displays distinctly human design, curved hulls, asymmetrical weapon placements, and crew quarters designed for comfort rather than mere efficiency. The civilian evacuation ships are broadcasting on all frequencies, reports his communications officer. The Azanti scientists are requesting asylum. This was Elena's third option, not a military strike against the superweapon facility, but a targeted message to Azanti civilian scientists revealing the weapon's true purpose. The result: a mass defection unlike anything in consensus history. The hardliner fleet is targeting their own civilian vessels, Marcus observes, watching tactical displays with grim determination. Intercept course. We will not allow refugees to be fired upon. As Alliance ships move to protect the civilian evacuation, Azanti military vessels open fire. The battle erupts across Helios orbit, but with a crucial difference from previous engagements. Consortium military ships begin experiencing systematic failures. Weapons powering down, engines stalling, life support systems rerouting power. Sabotage from within, Marcus realizes. The scientists didn't just flee. They left presence behind. On the surface below, Elena's diplomatic shuttle touches down under heavy fire. Her mixed-species security team, humans, Frelbin, even reformed Vrol, escort her toward the superweapon facility. They encounter minimal resistance. Most security forces have been called to address the civilian uprising. At the facility's core, Elena confronts Supreme Director Zeltav, architect of the Evolutionary Reset Project. You cannot stop what has already begun, the Azanti leader declares, mandibles clicking in what Elena now recognizes as anxiety. The weapon is primed. Deployment sequence initiated. Kamala steps forward, her modified Azanti neural interface connecting to the facility systems. I've been studying your technology for 15 years, she says, fingers dancing across holographic controls. You still design systems with administrator overrides, predictable to the end. As Kamala works to disable the weapon, Elena addresses the Azanti leader. Your fundamental miscalculation was believing evolutionary history determines destiny. You saw our predator origins and assumed we could only destroy. Your species hunted others to extinction, Zeltav responds, compound eyes reflecting fear. You evolved through bloodshed. Yet when we found you, Alina counters, we offered peace to those who recognized our autonomy. We integrated former enemies into our society. We teach your children alongside ours. Which species truly threatens galactic harmony? The facility's lights flicker as Kamala completes her work. Reset weapon neutralized, she announces, and I transmitted the deactivation codes to all hardliner vessels. Across the battlefield, consortium military ships power down one by one. The war ends not with a dramatic final explosion, but with systems quietly shutting down, weapons falling silent. In the aftermath, as Alina stands in the weapon chamber that nearly caused humanity's extinction, she receives a transmission from Deo on Earth. The image shows a gathering at the Antarctic Academy. Humans and aliens from dozens of species planting trees in the newly restored soil, a symbolic act of putting down roots in a shared future. We didn't just survive, Alina whispers. We showed them a better way.